Welcome everybody. I'm Geert Busset, Head of NGS Pre-Sales EMEA. I'm 28 years at Westcon in different management roles in Belgium, Benelux and EMEA. I'm also one of the founders of the Westcon Next Generation Solutions Go-to-Market. NGS was created in 2019 to bring new innovative vendors and technology to market with a focus on cloud-first and cloud-native cybersecurity technologies. So I have 20 plus years experience in the cybersecurity market and focused on evangelizing innovative and multi-vendor integrations. So let's have a look at the agenda. Firstly, what is the Westcon 3D Lab and what's in it for you? What is the technology and vendor coverage? What is the 3D Lab architecture that we used? What was our 3D Lab experience with AttackIQ? And what is our 3D Lab roadmap? And then we'll switch to a demo. So firstly, what is the Westcon 3D Lab? The goal of the 3D Lab is to showcase multi-vendor solutions and integrations based on real-life use cases. So it all starts with a customer requirement or need that we convert in a customer, and we convert that customer requirement into a scenario into 3D Lab. So there's no software to install and the labs are easy to access from anywhere. Access will be approved within 24 hours and labs can be booked for 4 hours, 3 days or 1 week. The labs are also free of charge for Westcon partners and end customers. The labs can be assisted by a vendor or Westcon pre-sales, but thanks to very detailed lab guides, you or your customers could go through the lab without any assistance. Now, why should you use the labs? Firstly, to gain on your own knowledge and expertise on products or multi-vendor integrations, or accelerate your own technical enablement. But in some cases, it could also be interesting to replace a customer POC or POV. So you are able to invite also your end customers on our 3D labs in a completely segregated environment, only visible to you as a partner. And as we all know, doing a POV in a customer environment can be quite time-consuming or sometimes even painful. Firstly, getting the approvals from all departments, then running a POV in an unknown environment, which also can give certain challenges. So we have several situations where we were able to significantly reduce a sales cycle by using our 3D labs. Because a typical lab session will only take 1.5 to 2 hours to complete. Now, a question that we get a lot is, of course, what is the 3D? What are the 3 dimensions of our labs? So the first dimension is the product. And it's of course about a technology or product that a customer or a partner wants to evaluate or to test. The second dimension is then the multi-vendor integration. And the integration between 2 different technologies and how they add value by using the combination. And then the third one is the use cases. As said before, we always start from a customer requirement or a customer need, which converts in a certain. So we have investigated in our 3D lab in attack simulation scenarios for EDR, NDR, SIM, and next generation firewalls. And we started by focusing on EDR and NDR. So we have integrations done with CrowdStrike Falcon, Vector Cognito, and Microsoft Defender. On the planning are Microsoft Sentinel, but also the Palo Alto Networks and Checkpoint next generation firewalls. So looking at the integrations we implemented via the AttackIQ Integration Manager, we have done direct integrations with CrowdStrike Falcon, Microsoft Defender, and Vector Cognito. You can also do, of course, integrations via a SIM, but we have chosen for the direct integrations because they were very easy to set up. The machines in our 3D lab are running in a cloud share environment where we have set up Windows and Linux machines, where the Windows machines are running AttackIQ test points, CrowdStrike Falcon, and Microsoft Defender. We have also configured for the vector assessment 2 zones, one Windows 10 zone and one Linux zone, and boundary directionality from the Windows 10 zone to the Linux asset zone. By the way, in the topology map, there are dotted lines moving based on the directionality configured. And that makes it very easy to detect that directionality of the test that you're doing. And also with an easy toggle, you can also change it to bidirectional if you want to test the from and the to the selected zones. What are the learnings we had from creating this lab? So we have chosen for AttackIQ cloud management solution So no management installation was needed. So we were up and running very quickly. Also, we saw that the management interface was very easy to use. The integrations with the third-party vendors is also very simple and straightforward using, as said before, the integration manager. Just creating a few API keys and you're good to go. The network control or validation module is a very powerful module. And again, very interesting to assess the network security controls in the security stack from the customer and start finding their security gaps. And you can use, of course, the PCAPs that are part of the AttackIQ solution, but you also can upload your own PCAPs. And that's, of course, very interesting. The micro-attack matrix mapping is very helpful to understand security control gaps and keep an overview of the executed tests. So that's also one we used a lot. So you get a good idea of the tactics and techniques that are not covered, and also which techniques are not detected or prevented because they are color-coded in red. And you have, of course, always a possibility to customize the scenarios, and that provides a lot of flexibility. Now, what we use is typically the baseline templates because they were for us an excellent starting point, and they reduce significantly the time that was needed to assess the basic function checks and the most common security controls. And these templates were available for the 3 technology integrations we tested. And of course, AttackIQ has much more of those templates available for other technology integrations. But again, we were focused in our lab at the moment on the Vectra, CrossFire Falcon, and Microsoft Defender integrations. And again, for all 3 of them, we had those baseline templates available. What was also very interesting we found was the mitigation recommendations. And why was that so powerful? Because you always directly saw which scenarios that they affected. And again, as I said before, we used a lot the topology view because it gives you a good overview of the total environment. Again, for us, it was a relatively small environment with only 2 zones and boundary control, which was the Vectra solution. But again, if you have a very complete architecture with a lot of different boundary controls, then of course the topology map gets very interesting because you get a very good overview then. So what's also interesting is that by just clicking on the topology, on the boundary control or on the zones, you can immediately dive into them and edit them. So it's very intuitive. So what is our 3D lab roadmap? Firstly, expand the environment to a simulated production environment. And that does mean for us is adding different types of servers, Active Directory, and more endpoints. But also extending the third-party vendor coverage and further explore the network control validation module. So by adding, for example, next-generation firewalls like Checkpoint and Palo Alto Networks. And then also adding other technologies. As said before, we haven't integrated yet with the SIM solution, so that's also on the planning, and also have integrations with DLP technologies. Because also AttackIQ has very good integrations with those type of technologies. And again, also look at using customized attack scenarios. And because we started from the baseline templates, but we certainly want to go into more detail on the customization. And also a very interesting functionality we discovered is that you can use also the internet zone in the topology map for north-south testing using the hosted agent so that you test the environment from the outside. So again, now it's demo time. So how to book your 3D lab, give a 3D lab overview and walkthrough, and also have a look at the lab guide. Over to you, Hamza.
Hello, everyone, and welcome again. My name is Hamza Sali, and I'm a solution architect at Westcon. So I'm working for Westcon since 5 years, and I had the opportunity to learn and work on many security products and vendors. And before joining Westcon, I worked for multiple value-added reseller and as a security network and security engineer in the implementation part and the support part, and also as a technical account manager. So I delighted today to play the demonstration of our 3D Lab platform, and in this demonstration, I will show you how to book a 3D Lab session. I will explain also the requirement and all what you need to start interacting with our 3D labs. And at the end, I will provide you more details about our lab guide and how they are helpful to get skilled and to start exploring, of course, our technologies and our security vendor such as AttackIQ. So let's begin first by take a look on how to book a 3D lab session. To book your 3D lab session, all what you need is just navigating using your browser to our website, which is westconcomstore.com. Then you need to move to Westcon and click on 3D lab. So the 3D Lab web page will be displayed, and of course, you will get all the list of all our 3D labs. Of course, those who are available, and of course, you can see. For each one, you have the description. You can read the description to get an idea about use cases that are covered, and of course which vendor that are covered in each on each one. So all what you need here is to of course choose your 3D lab, then click on book now. So you will be redirected to Westcon LMS. So what is Westcon LMS? So Westcon LMS is our learning and management system that provides uh, a big content of e-learning, of training, of recorded webinars that you as a partner can, of course, connect and access to this technical count, of course, free of charge. So from the LMS, of course, you must create an account, and from the LMS, all what you need to do is just select a policy. So what is this policy? So this policy indicates how much or indicate the duration of your lab session. So you can choose between 4 hours, 3 days, or 1 week, and it depends of course of your usage. For example, if you want to schedule an event with some of your end customers of in a kind of technical workshop with hands-on. In this case, maybe 4 hours will be sufficient to this usage. So you need to choose, of course, the policy and just click on request. Of course, when you do your request, our central team and 3D Lab team will receive immediately your request, and they have 24 hours to approve the request. And if the request is approved, of course, you will get an email, confirmation by email. And from that email, you will have the details of two components. The first component is your virtual environment, and we will see this together. And the second component is our 3D Lab portal. So let's see the first component. So the first component is your cloud share or your virtual environment, which is hosted on cloud share. So this virtual environment will give you all the virtual machine that you need to execute your 3D lab and to explore, of course, the use cases and all the activities. So you can find some Linux-based machine, Windows-based machine, servers or workstation. You can find also, it depends on the lab that you have chosen. It can contain, for example, other security solution like network sensor or network security sensor or NDR sensor. And of course, you have the lab guide. So if you click on the lab guide here, you will be redirected to the lab guide. So you can find or this lab guide that we will focus on later in some moments. So this is the first component. The second component, again, all what you need is just a web browser. All the platform is web-based, so you can access from anywhere. And the second component, as I said, is the 3D Lab app portal. So the 3D Lab portal, of course, after approving after you get the approval of your request, you will get the credential to connect to this portal, and it's a centralized portal that gives you the ability to connect to the different management console of the security solution that are of course related to this chosen 3D lab. So you can connect easily to Falcon console, for example, without any additional password. You can connect, as you can see, we can connect also to AttackIQ platform or any kind of security controls or security solution. Again, that is related to your chosen 3D lab. So again, we can connect with the same app portal to AttackIQ management console to start doing maybe attack simulation. And of course, you have the lab guide. You need to follow all the steps and if exploring the feature and the use case that are present in your lab guide. So the final things that I want to share with you is the lab guide. So let's see how it's easy to use the lab guide and what kind of information you can find on it. So this is the lab guide. As you can see, we have a detailed everything is detailed on it, and you can find all the activity, all the tasks, all the steps that you need that you need to do. You have, of course, how to use this guide. You can see that in the activity you will learn and understand your workshop environment, how many VMs, virtual machine you have, the role of every virtual machines, the lab architecture if needed. Again, it depends on the 3D lab you have chosen, and of course, if there are some features or some feature that are covered or some capabilities of the products that are covered in the 3D and this 3D lab, you can get documentation and explanation of the feature that you will use. So as you can see, we'll get all the detail how to connect to every security management console, and if you need maybe to make some modification in your VM. As you can see, every step, you have a screenshot of every step. So if you are not familiar with a solution, you will be able easily to do the activities and to get more skills and to be familiar with them. That's all for me. It's for you. It's for you, Gert, and thank you for your presence. And I hope that we will see you soon on our 3D Lab platform.
Thanks, Hamza, for the demo. And thanks all for your time today. Hope this gave you a good idea of how our multi-vendor integration lab could be beneficial for you or your customers. Don't hesitate to check out our lab at the address mentioned on the screen. Thank you.